They're not gonna sponsor us. In your car.
At home? No, listen.
Oh, he doesn't even look like me. He's the total opposite of me.
Hi, I'm Tim Somerville.
And I'm Michael Dempsey. This is Off the Market with Team Somerville.
Hey, so how you doing today?
I'm doing great. And
good.
I gotta tell you, the last time we sat down,
Yep.
I wanted to talk about something that's been grinding my gears.
Really?
We kind of ran out of a little time. So I'm gonna kick off just with that.
Really?
So, Tim, besides our office, where do we spend the most time?
Well, at home. No,
In your car.
at home. No, listen, I don't drive. I don't drive at all. No, I just.
We got a chauffeur now. What's your dream, mates?
This is you. I'm taking the sleeping hours into consideration, but without the sleeping hours, you're right. I would say be very close. So yes, I'm in my vehicle.
Let me rephrase the question. Tim, do you spend a lot of time in your vehicle?
Well, I think I do.
Excellent. Well, of course.
Wait, that grinds my gears.
This does. No. One thing that really grinds my gears is on-ramp speed.
Really?
Okay? When you're getting on the highway, guess what? You need to be doing highway speed before you come over and see me. All right?
Okay.
The biggest culprit, of course, is always, Rossley Avenue. People are getting off Rossley Avenue. They're coming up. They're getting on the highway. And, they get up to about 70 or 80, and they're like, I'm fine, coming in. It's like, no! You have about 900 meters of merge, right? And I thought about this over and over and over again.
Really?
I would really love to put...
Is this really bothering you?
It bothers me. Yeah. I have a plan. Here's the plan. Here's your plan. We wouldn't do it in the winter, because it's snow plowing and things like that. But, these great road construction guys, they have the long pylons, right?
Yeah, okay.
So if you put pylons out at least 200 to 300 meters out, and that says you ain't coming over into my lane until you run out of pylons, I think that would speed things up.
Right.
Now, rush hour traffic, it's hit or miss. We all want to get the heck out of the city to Rossley, Quispan, wherever we go. Hundreds of people traveling at rush hour. But I think that would really, really speed things up.
True. And if we are going to talk about on-ramp speed, I can't get over how many vehicles are in the right lane of the two lanes.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get on the highway and they're still in the right lane.
Yeah.
It's like, as soon as I'm coming up to a ramp, I'm already heading over to the left lane. Unless there's a really fast car coming behind me, but usually that's me anyway. But
Exactly. You're tailing yourself.
yeah, that's right. Listen, you've driven my car. I know what that.
When you're in the right,
Painful.
for the most part, when you're coming up to these on-ramps, you can see cars coming and you get over. Again, rush hour, it's a little bit of a different story. But that takes me to the other side of it is left lane travelers.
Okay, yes, we
Okay.
know how much we know those.
If you haven't been paying attention, Mr. Somerville spent, most of his childhood in Ontario. Different communities, things like that. Things are different. In fact, yesterday we were talking about highways, 401, 407, this and that. How many lanes are on the 401? Is it like 6 on each side?
Oh, I'd say there's
I'd say 6 on each
you're
side.
right at
Yeah.
some point.
So
Because you have to include the collector lanes, right? So you've got 2 or 3 in the collector's lanes, usually 3, even sometimes 4. You also have your main highway of at least 3. So again, sometimes
you've got
6, 7.
some great lanes to travel in. We're New Brunswick, baby.
Yeah, no.
The left lane is for passing. It's not a travel lane. It's not get in, set the cruise control at 108 kilometers and cruise, baby.
Yeah.
No. So get your buttons over.
I know.
I know.
Even this morning,
Yes.
I'm in the left lane. Guys doing 110, which is the speed limit, and I guess
That's fun.
and everything else. But all you have to do is just be a little bit more cognizant of the vehicles around you. And again, it's one of those things that I can understand how it can grind your gears. Yes, just a little.
I know it's been said 100 times, but watch your left lane camping, as we call it. Watch your on-ramp speed. Get that 2.0 liter up to speed.
Well, and again, if anything grinds my gears in regards to that is the fact that having vehicles that are still not all-wheel drive in our, climate, it is difficult to see. We know it's out there. And again, we see more and more, of course, with the weather that we've had this winter, that would, of course, make you think that, again, an all-wheel drive would be the way to go. But let's get into real estate.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We talk all the time about, placing your offer, placing your, the right offer and things like that. I'd like to just spend maybe 5 minutes explaining what is in our offers here in New Brunswick, because Tim and I have seen offers from our colleagues, like just, we talk at conferences and things like that. What is in their offer? And some of them are so basic. It's like one page, and everything is kind of handwritten out, and not a lot of clauses and things like that. And if there were, but ours, yes, it's 6 pages. It's not that bad. Ours is so simple. It's literally, some of the clauses are check boxes where you're saying yes or no, and then we're agreeing to get it, done by a certain time.
True.
So let's just take a step back.
Okay.
What's the very first thing when you're putting in your offer?
Well, I'm going to tell you that with that in mind, with the offers that you fill out, especially with Team Somerville, we always talk about the 5 conditions. And those 5 conditions we are going to discuss with you. Those 5, of course, are the price.
Price is important.
Yeah.
It's the first thing they see, unfortunately.
Closing date. Closing date's very important, but keep in mind that if you're competing against other offers, we may advise you to make sure that that date is stated, that it's flexible, not where the closing date is supposed to be. We will put a date. It has to be there.
Has to be there.
Has to be there. We'll come back to this and say there are 3 items that make an offer legitimate. But let's go back to this.
Yeah.
So we have price, we have closing date. We also have different conditions that should be in there. So, of course, there is your inspection clause. And again, if you're in competition, this may or may not be a condition, but we still have to put yes or no. Other than that, we also have a water test. That water test is, of course, based on properties that have a well. And again, it's one of those items that if you're getting mortgage financing, you need to put it. And then there's an insurance clause as well, that again, when we talk about the conditions and so forth. But we also have to look at those and say, okay, what are we doing about insurance, financing? What are we doing about water test, disclosure? And again, when we get into those items, that's where we come.
Now, there's one other item that's in there.
Tell me.
We don't see it a whole lot.
Yes.
But there is something that's specified as an environmental test.
Yes.
So let's say you're buying, maybe it's a house. Back in the day, we'd have the house and they'd have like their gas station.
True.
Mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
Well, that gas station was decommissioned many moons ago. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but a good person would look at that and they need to know if the ground is suitable to live on.
Of course.
Or if the land is having a change of use. There may be an environmental test, which is very pricey.
Sure.
But they would come in, draw soil samples, and you'd know basically what's down there.
In St. John, because many homes have been heated by oil, you would be surprised if you go on to service in Brunswick, or if your realtor does, there's what's called the Land Gazette. And the Land Gazette can sometimes flag properties that have had contamination issues. So when we talk about that environmental, it's not just for commercial properties.
No.
You would be surprised.
That's true. If you had, let's say, a septic issue that's well known.
Yeah, the septic issue could be flagged as well. And again, the government will look at those concerns. I mean, we can even go as far as that if it was a grow up. If it's a grow up and it was classified, believe it or not, then it will be under the Land Gazette. So there are different things like that that could affect the value of the property and actually your perception on what you either will you want to buy? Will you want to buy it after knowing these items? Because some of these items will follow that property, even if it is not a concern anymore. So just keep that in mind that, again, once something is labeled, it's sometimes hard to remove that label.
Perfect. So your client sat down, they've given you all of their, here's my price, here's my closing day, here's all my conditions.
Yeah.
They're about to sign.
Yeah.
What's that next important thing after they signed?
Well, you have to take into
The irrevocable.
Yeah, the irrevocable.
Yeah.
Very important.
So I really want to stress
Okay.
on the importance of the irrevocable and what people think it is or what it actually is.
What some people do not understand is what that word actually means. Irrevocable is the time in which, if you are a buyer, the time in which you're going to allow the offer to stand. So if it's a minute past that when somebody does get back, theoretically, you can actually say no, okay? You can actually change that irrevocable within the time frame that you even put it out there. So just because you put it out there once does not mean you cannot change that irrevocable date. Now, on the other side, the seller may give a counter offer. And when the seller gives a counter offer, they too will put an irrevocable. And if you do not respond within that time frame, Keep in mind that, again, that all of a sudden that deal then can be classified as null and void. But right back to what I said, and we've seen it, a seller has given us a counter offer, say with an irrevocable of maybe 6 hours from now. But all of a sudden an offer has come in and they want to review that as well. They can come back and send a message to us stating, we have changed your irrevocable from 6 hours to 10 minutes. And if we don't get back within that time frame, our offer is now dead. In fact, they can actually come back and say, we actually have removed the counter offer. So, and we've seen it. So please keep in mind that even if you have 5 or 6 hours to respond, especially as a buyer when a seller gives a counter offer, you are best to act immediately. Because again, you can be, you can be disappointed and discouraged, but at the end of the day, the client is going to do a lot of times what's best for themselves, for the client.
Like you said, speed is the key. Getting back to them, and just like a good marriage, communication is the big.
True.
As long as you have, the buyer and the seller agents are communicating and keeping the deal alive.
I agree.
Very important.
I agree. And I'm glad that you brought up the whole idea of the purchase and sale, because again, there are some cities and provinces that do have, very fully detailed offers. With ours, one thing that is important to note that throughout the whole province of New Brunswick, we use many similar, in fact, identical documents. So the purchase and sale that you would use in Moncton is the same that you would use in Fredericton, which is the same that you would use in in St. John. And again, that's really unique to think that a province has banded together to make sure that the client, buyer and seller, have recognition. Because you may move to Moncton, or you may move to Fredericton, or of course St. John. But at the end of the day, it's nice to know that the realtors that are involved are all on the same page.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're not familiar with the area, I call it the 1 hour triangle.
Yes.
You're going to Moncton. Well, Moncton's a little bit more than an hour. Well, on average, the hour triangle between the three, I would say, biggest cities. Yeah. Do you know we have, 8 now? 8?
Really?
Yeah.
I know.
I look at
Miramichi, I think, and
there's Bathurst, Dieppe, now City, Mountain, and I was just kind of blown away because I'm not that old, but I'm
sure Belle City.
No, and we like it that way.
We like the berries. We like the bay.
We love the bay.
Okay.
So I hope that we've given a good clarification on what all it within the offer.
Great.
So yeah, it is the end of January. We're into February, and one thing I wanted to look back on is when the new year starts, people always look back on fallen year.
Yeah.
And they say, what was the best movie? What was the best book? What was the video game?
Oh, you're gonna throw me under the bus.
No. Well, I won't throw you under the bus that much.
Okay.
People always like to say, what were the top baby names?
Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Good.
So you've probably seen some videos, maybe some TikToks about that. But I wanted to say, we're 1 month into the 2026. What are we seeing as the most popular baby names in North America so far?
Well, after these podcasts, I'm thinking it's Michael and Tim are definitely, they've been jumping up there. So,
well, fun fact, Michael and Mohammed are very common in the world.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good. Tim too.
Oh, sure.
So I'll give you the top 5 boy names. They're not as traditional as I thought.
No, I know.
So coming in number 5 is Mateo.
Mateo.
Okay. Good, strong name.
Yes.
4, Theodore. So with Theodore, you got Ted, you got Teddy,
Theo.
Yeah. Adorable. Number 3. This little baby's going to want some more. Oliver. Please, sir. I want some more. Yes. Yeah, well, Oliver.
Charles Dickens.
Number 2, I see a lot of this. Noah.
Really?
Yeah, Noah. Very popular. Biblical name.
Yes.
But number 1 is, if your daughter's ever taken, Liam.
Liam.
Yeah, I love Liam Neeson.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So Liam. So yeah, not very common names. I find the younger generation are always trying to Either come up with a fun name or misspell it in some funky way.
So to try to throw you under the bus, will you be having any more children?
No,
No, they're here.
no,
Okay.
we're good.
Okay. We don't have boys.
No,
No. Okay. Okay. So if you did have a boy, would you pick any of those or something different?
I'd probably pick something different.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know if you were that sold on Liam or what.
No.
Okay. Good.
I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I'll throw it out there. You're youngest.
Kaylee.
Did you have any input?
Oh, yes, I did.
You did?
Yes. So
What has to say the man gets vetoed?
yeah, with Kaylee, all I asked my wife was that I could choose the middle name. So we picked Rayne, Rayne, and right. So when Kaylee was born, though, we were in the hospital with no name yet. So I thought we were going to do President's Choice, right? No name. So it got down to we had to pick 10.
I just got that.
Yeah, there you got it.
Oh my
We
God.
picked 10, and it made it down to 5, and of course I didn't care what they chose, but we went with Kaylee, and happy we did.
We played that game where you spread out the names and your spouse says veto.
How about the girls?
The girls, yes. So top 5. I love number 5. Pretty name, Sophia.
Yeah.
A couple of different ways to spell that. Amelia.
Okay.
And then of course we have Charlotte. Emma. Emma was one of my choices for Elizabeth.
Okay.
You know, I don't know why I was stuck on Emma. But,
Okay.
and then number 1 is Olivia.
Olivia. Okay. Okay. Few names in there, a little bit more traditional and
I
so.
would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know for a while there, everybody was on the Navia kick, which was heaven spelled backward. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So.
Did I tell you about Trevor?
No.
Trevor. So I went to school with a gentleman. His name is Trevor. It's like Trevor, but with a B.
Okay.
So it turns out the father showed up while the wife was giving birth. He was a little inebriated.
Okay.
And so after birth, the mother said, well, let's name him after you. Let's name him Trevor. Oh, no, sorry. His name is Robert.
Robert.
I got the story wrong. His name is Robert.
Okay.
The gentleman being a little inebriated said, no, he doesn't even look like me. He's the total opposite of me. So what's the total opposite of Robert?
Trevor.
Is Trevor spelled Robert spelled back?
Okay, there we go. Can you imagine?
I've also went to school with a kid named Junior.
Okay.
So it's not like the Timothy Junior. No, his name was just Junior.
Oh yes, I remember going to
It's the
school.
chance, would you?
Yeah, I remember going to school, and it's like how many months or days of the week and so forth. So again, with all the names out there, and you think you have that long to decide. Just like in our case, it's like, okay, she's here.
Yeah.
She needs a name.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I know the nurse is giving you the order.
what's the nurse's name? What's the doctor's? No idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, we could do usual
Yeah,
stuff.
your wife's on medication, so you don't want to like pull a fast one off.
Or,
She'll find out eventually.
yeah, we could do the whole usual suspects and just what's on the bulletin board. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we work for a Canadian company, proudly. It's been around since 1913, so quite a few years, 113 years. I know we were talking about this earlier, but when we look at real estate and we look at the companies that are involved, it is nice that yes, we are Canadian, but one thing we do pride ourselves in is that all our platforms and so forth are done for Canadians. When you look at the stats, when you look at everything that Royal LePage puts out for the consumers, it's based about Canada. And that's important. It's important to know that the information that we're trying to provide you is for you. With that in mind, though, we did talk, and I'm saying on a lot, so I apologize, the oldest company in Canada.
Hudson Bay?
Hudson Bay, many, many moons ago. So anyway, 1670. So again, not the same company that it once was, but yeah, 1670, many, many moons ago. So anyway,
Still the same CEO? Maybe that's why business is dying.
okay.
What if I do?
All right, here we go.
But they're not going to sponsor us.
Before your time, there was a show called The Gong Show, Chuck Barris, I think it was. And they had an unknown comic there and had the paper bag on and everything else. And I think you could take that spot right there.
Yeah.
Put a bag over your head, we'd be good to go. So, saying that,
So many jokes.
so yeah, so little time.
Yeah.
So what else is going on in the world of real estate?
Keeping busy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
for February.
And when we look at that, that's because we know the important part about servicing our clients is to make sure that we're here. This time of year, many realtors will go away. They'll do this, they'll do that, and that's fine. It's usually predominantly the slower time. We at Team Somerville, what we do is based on our team, we make sure that, again, there's always a realtor available for you to either see a home or, of course, to list your home. And so keep in mind that when you are looking at real estate and you're looking and saying now is the time, we're ready.
Absolutely.
Very
Like you said, while a lot of people may be taking their foot off the gas, we tend to utilize the like the slower time.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that slow, but the slower time to, I mean, we already sat down. We said, what are our goals for this year? All that good stuff. We're talking about marketing strategies. You know, you got to utilize the time. I find, you know, some professionals may just, I don't know.
Well,
Again, we don't want to talk smack, but
well, one of my goals, and hopefully you'll have a number, is the amount of subscribers that we have by the end of 2026. Be great to have over 500. Be great to have 1,000.
Yeah.
But right now, what we'd say is if you are interested in subscribing, please click the link below. You'll see that you can subscribe to Team Somerville, Off the Market with Team Somerville, and we'd love to have you do that. Other than that, though, let's talk a little bit more about real estate. And what I really want to throw at you now is when somebody calls you and says, hey, I like this home, but I need a contractor. I need an electrician. I need a plumber. What do we do in those cases? What do you do in those cases?
I usually give them at least 2 to 3 options for each. You know, hey, do you know a local handyman? Okay, well, here's 2 to 3 options, right? I never want to say you got to use Johnny Boy,
Right.
you know, because it will come back to reflect on us. If Johnny Boy, for whatever reason, you know, messed up on something, or maybe, I don't know, didn't spend enough time on this one little project, it reflects poorly on us. And again, it's just, I like to be able to give you a choice.
That's right.
You know, I always make the joke when someone say, hey, you know, I need a local lawyer. I try to give them a male and a female. And I say, some males play a lot of golf, so choose wisely.
Yes.
Side joke, because we have a good friendship with lawyers that we get.
100%.
And
Well,
ironically, he does golf.
sure. But I'll ask you on that. What's one of the busiest days to close the deal?
Busiest day? Thursday.
Thursday, and if not, when?
Friday.
Right. And do you know how many solicitors do not work Friday? Quite a few. So make sure that if you are looking at your solicitors and you do have a closing date, either make sure that when you do your offer, it is on a Thursday. But keep in mind, if it falls apart for whatever reason and you need that one extra day, you want to make sure your solicitor is going to be available. So something very important to keep in mind. In regards to contractors and handymen, you're right. We try our best to make sure that we provide you information in regards to those services. What we know, though, is that many of our referrals are busy. So you have to understand that if you do call somebody and they're available right now, that may not be the right sign. You want somebody that you know is steady, right? Working, is able to see you within a meaningful amount of time, but always try to make sure that you get more than one quote.
Absolutely. That's like trusting a skinny chef. Would you trust him? He's not eating his own food.
Listen, that reminds me of waiters that recommend what?
Brussels sprouts. Yeah, don't trust them. That's another story for another day.
There we go. Am I buying the whole cow? Anyway. Yeah.
More on that.
Yes. Okay.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, I'll bet that one right here we go.
Yeah.
What I know is that with our business, when we bring you through a home, there will always be things that you are thinking about doing. So one thing that Michael and I want you to know is that technology has really changed.
Absolutely.
When we look at realtor.ca, it is a site that is going to become even more technologically advanced to help you, the consumer. You will see things change probably within the next 6 months to a year, even a little bit more. That's going to allow you to look at rooms in 3 or 4 different, shades. You can look at it with this color or that color and so forth. They're going to, at some point, allow you to look at different flooring. So this is the actual home, but this is what you can do with that home. And so keep in mind that as we do that, there's one very important thing to keep in mind. Although we're going to a very AI advanced world.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, real estate for us, it's very important that you see the home for what it is. Because if you cannot fall in love with that home, and all you're doing is making those changes, 2 things will happen. One is you may not fall in love with that home because of the amount of changes you're trying to make. But number two is you may get in and now all of a sudden that home is more than you have wanted to take on. And there are homes that, yes, you can move in. We love those homes. It's like it's perfect.
Absolutely.
Right. But how many buyers, though, are going to make changes? Almost all of them. Right. Oh, I'm going to change the appliances. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Limit that, though, because if you're changing the whole home, Michael and I and us at Team Somerville, we'd like to find you a home that may suit closer to what your needs and wants are. Because if you get into too much, especially the cost of some of these renovations are,
Up front.
yeah, yeah.
You mentioned it before, the 90-10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, emotional, practical way of buying a home, right? We want you to emotionally fall in love with it. We want to be your practical sense and say, hey, guess what? This is a good home for you. So with that said and so forth, let's talk about off the market for a moment.
Okay.
Something was grinding my gears too. You said that in the last podcast.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I will say that I was very disappointed that Bill Belichick did not get first ballot Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick, great coach. And I look at coaches because I try to listen to, of course, different podcasts and different leaders and what they bring to not only, to people, but to themselves. And we live in a day where certain people accolades, really for something as good as Belichick was as a coach, still did not get him into the Hall of Fame. Now he will, the second ballot, definitely he'll get in. But I'm just surprised that people cannot appreciate the accolades. There's always stuff in the background. You may not always like people, individuals for certain things, but you have to respect the accolades and what they do for a living. And I know that at Team Somerville, we literally have sold more homes than anybody in Atlantic Canada. And I can guarantee that. But one thing I will tell you, it means that throughout that process, yes, some people were very satisfied and some may have wanted us to have made some changes throughout. We're a living, breathing, growing company that we want the best for you. And sometimes it's hard because what we think is the best for you without the proper communication, guess what? We may fall short sometimes and we apologize for that. But one thing we will do is do our best to work harder for you the next time. You agree?
I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
There's lots of cases where we
Oh, I know.
certainly, put in all the extra effort we can.
Right.
At the end of the day, we want to find you your home. We want to sell your home.
That's right. That's right. And keep in mind that just a nice small discussion, we can do it through text, email, or of course, we still prefer phone. One thing we will tell you is that when you're discussing anything with Team Somerville, we'll do our best to make sure that we see it in your eyes, not always in ours, because it's important. Because if we're not on your page, how are we ever going to be able to turn the page? We also have the the home show coming
Yes.
at TD Station.
We might have mentioned that before.
Yes.
What's the dates again?
March 20th to 22nd.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. We'd love to see you there. If you're interested in going, we do have some tickets to give out. Just make sure that you mention it below and we'll do our best to get you a couple tickets. We'd love to see you there. Stop in at our booth. We will have a draw. If we're not there, hopefully one of our team members will be. And if not, of course, we have great associates and great realtors here at Royal LePage and Lighting. There will definitely be somebody there to say hi and hopefully give you a chance to win something. Last year, do you know what the prize was? Do you remember? It was Ridgeback Lodge.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, it was like 2 nights at Ridgeback Lodge, which I've stayed there. Yeah. When I stayed there, they had these hot tubs. They're wood-burning hot tubs. And so anyway, anyway, so we had stoked the hot tub and went in for a beverage. And when we went back out, oh my goodness, it was 1,000 degrees. So anyway, I have to watch those things because it's probably the closest I came to being stew.
Yeah.
So
Wood burning can be finicky. It's not something you can set it and forget it. Well, excellent. Well, we don't know what that prize is yet, but when we find out, we'll definitely be sharing that information.
Yeah.
Again, thank you again for joining us today. That pretty much wraps up our episode for today. Again, I'm Michael Dempsey.
I'm Tim Somerville, and this is Off the Market with Team Somerville.